Want to skip to a specific segment? Use the timestamps in the description. Hey Siri, what is the Waste of Time podcast?
The Waste of Time podcast is an independently recorded podcast that covers a wide range of topics, hosted by Let's Talk Cars host 𝘊𝙪𝙧 𝙫𝙬𝙗.
Hello, welcome to the Waste of Time podcast, episode number 18, asterisk. Alright, so I'm here with Ben Rose, and Ben, let's get started with some Life in Lockdown.
Let's do this. All right, so for our first topic today, we have even hotter. Now, as you guys know, just California in general, is getting very hot. I think it was like 106 down in Southern California on Tuesday. At least in San Francisco, it's been getting to we've kind of gotten better. When I wrote this subtitle, it was 2 days ago.
It was Tuesday, but yeah,
it was pretty hot.
It was pretty on Tuesday. It was
pretty hot. It was 90 degrees.
Yeah, but we also had some kind of storms as a result of that, dry lightning stuff, which we'll get into more of that later with some of the results of that. But it's been just the last week or so. It's just been an absolute nightmare of heat. I've been doing all my exercise inside. It got so hot out I couldn't even do bike riding stuff. I did all my exercise inside on the treadmill instead, which is not bad. But I like to be able to go out because it's a nice sunny day out. But also, it's 106 degrees. I'm not doing running or biking in that. Yeah.
So also, honestly, it's been getting a lot better in San Francisco recently. It's 70 something degrees now, and a lot of other people are just oh no, there's it's 102 where I am, and I'm ha 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 ha, and then they're oh well, at least there's clear skies, and I'm oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah,
but we'll get to that later.
That's more topic for later. But
so our second thing that we want to talk about is the COVID cases.
Yeah.
COVID cases in the United States have been recently seeing a giant decline, and that's actually really good news, especially for us when we want to go off to college, And in California too, they've also seen a massive decline, and I think we're actually getting to the point where we could.
Well, I think we discussed it in last week's podcast where they accidentally added a whole ton of shit from May to the actual count. Was that last week's podcast when we discussed that? I think.
Yeah,
I think it was 17. Yeah,
that was last week's podcast. Yes.
Yeah, but so COVID cases going down. That's definitely good. Do we have any actual reason? Are people actually following stay-at-home orders more, or what's going on with that?
I think that it might just be. Well, actually, we're going to get to that in the news.
Right.
But I think it might be a complicated mix of virology factors, certain things. A lot of people getting the virus, becoming immune. But I think another big part of it is that people have been wearing masks, and we don't really see a lot of that on the news. But I have faith in people. Maybe I'm too naive.
Yeah. Also, but I've just realized that the two general topics this week also just kind of are teasers for things to come later on in the podcast. We actually have actual topics from the news and other slides. It's just... What?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yo, so welcome back to the Waste of Time podcast, where all we do is just fucking tease shit.
Yeah, anyway.
Anyways, don't take that whichever way you want.
Yeah. Personal topics. Ben, you want to get going with yours, though?
Yeah, so recently I have lost some more weight, so I'm 208 now, and I am just working on my weight, and I think it's honestly been going really, really well. Seriously.
So, how have you been exercising with all the problems that we'll talk about later resulting from the fires? How have you been exercising over the last week or so? Just the last few days, really.
So I've been going to virtual online workouts with my friends in my Discord server. But whenever that fails and when they're not on, I'll just do 200 jumping jacks.
Nice.
Every day
Solid.
I do about 40 push-ups, 80 sit-ups / crunches. But it doesn't really take off a lot of weight, so I've decided I need to do some sort of cardio. So I have been doing 200 jumping jacks every day for the past 3 days that I can't go out jogging.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, it's more about, even if you can't do, your favorite exercise, it's just about, keeping up a steady exercise routine. I cannot, as I said before, it's so hot out. I cannot go outside biking, and now with all the smoke caused by, we'll talk about the fires later on, but that type of stuff, I cannot go out biking or walking, so I'm actually using, again, the treadmill I got a few days before I actually hurt my foot, almost ironically. I'm using that, so I think I'm down to, 197 now, which is pretty... Still overweight because I'm 5'10", but, it's
awesome.
getting better.
That's very awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, anything else to add to that for you, Ben? For your personal topics, or just that?
No, besides the fact that it is very tough to exercise in quarantine times. And I think we could all agree to that.
Yeah.
All right, so why don't you talk about yours?
All right, so for mine, I have two, actually. So the first one I'll go with. I'm actually going to read the last one first and first one last, if that makes any sense. Anyway, the first one I'm going to talk about is I had a very weird roommate situation. So I'm going off to college in a few weeks, as you probably all know by now, and I am figuring out a whole roommate situation thing, right? And I kind of... So... On the website, it said, like, a different date. That, like, so like, choosing the roommate, the date ended up being, I think it was, like, the 3rd or the 1st of August. The website said it was the 14th, and I was told by someone else that it was actually 17th. So, some confusion happened, and I was actually gonna, get myself on a wait list. Because I actually put up, like, a form. They were, like, I filled out a form for them to auto-assign me to someone, or just back in, like, February of, I guess this year, right? Geez, February. We were still allowed to go out and talk to people. There was no lockdown in February. That's the thing. That seems very weird to think about like that. But yeah, anyway, in February, I actually went and, I filled out a form. So I got all of a sudden someone who's actually, at least his bio says he's pretty cool, similar interest to mine, comics, video games, TV, that type of stuff, rock music, that type of stuff, right? But I've also been talking to someone else who's also, like, really cool, who actually also wanted to room with. So I'm actually on waitlist to room with one person. If that doesn't work, I'm just gonna room with the other one. But they're both pretty cool people. So we'll see how this works out. It's a bit of a complicated mess because there is some miscommunication between me and the people at the school. So we'll see how this resolves itself, and hopefully it will be resolved by next episode where I can briefly mention my personal topics. I don't know. Anyway, the second one is something I really can't talk about because I don't know if it's actually happening or not. Well, it is, but I don't know. How do I explain this? So next episode 19. There might be a one-time slide.
So keep it secret.
Because there is an event I might be covering in the next thing. It's going to be happening this weekend. And it's a pretty cool event I want to cover. It's kind of a digital convention type of thing, right? It's a convention, but since they always can have big conventions halls and meetings of people because, well, obviously COVID and stuff like that. It's kind of like a digital convention, right? And so I'm not going to give too much away about what it is in case the segment doesn't end up happening, in case I can't log on to the video server to actually watch the convention and report on it. But if the podcast next week is extra long with a big new slide in it that's only there for one episode, then you know why. If not, ignore this entirely. All right, let's move on to the Wildman Oliver update. And for once, we actually have something to talk about in the Wildman Oliver update.
Yay! Glory hole in his tent. There's a glory hole in Oliver's tent. There's a glory hole in his tent. It's in his tent.
I'm going to disregard that, but I will actually explain that statement that Ben just made. Or, like, it was not really a statement. That was just more a stupid thing to actually be...
Don't bleep it out, please.
Yeah, I'll keep it in there, but I will preface it with some information. So, a few days ago, there were some massive dry lightning storms. Around 11,000 lightning strikes in the space of one night in California total. It was just a lot of stuff going on at once. At first I thought, because I saw the first one, just little flashes down over my neighbor's house, right? Just little flashes through the fog. I'm like, and this is also my neighbor's house where they have a lot of strobe lights and parties and stuff like that, even during COVID, even if they're just by themselves, they have parties with the family and stuff like that or whatever, right? And so it's not that uncommon to see flashing, pulsing lights from their backyard. Okay, they're just doing that. But then I would go outside, I think it was 1 in the morning because I wanted to get some fresh air because I couldn't really sleep. I don't know why. And I saw lightning in the sky. I'm like, okay, that's lightning. And then I went, I'm like, you know what? Lightning, I might spend the night in the tent. That seems pretty cool, right? Spending a tent in a thunderstorm seems pretty cool. About 20 minutes later, the winds pick up. I can feel the tent, shaking, right? And then rip a massive, so the tent has been out there for a few months now, and it's become pretty, I guess the fabric's become kind of, brittle in the sun, sitting out there since, I think it was mid-May, right? Anyway.
March?
No, because we started this podcast in May, so it was May, I think.
We started in April, didn't we?
No, because we can go back and check. I want to say it was mid-May, though. At least when I started doing that Wildman Oliver thing, because I think it was around episode 2 of the podcast. I don't know. Anyway, we can go back and check.
I thought it was the original.
Ben, if you want to go back and check when episode 2 or 3 came out, feel free.
Sure, I'll do that.
Yeah. Anyway, so point being, the fabric got pretty brittle, and so then the wind came along and decided to. The wind came along and decided just to rip the tent, and it did. There's now a massive hole inside of my tent. I'm not using that tent anymore. Although I did spend the rest of the night in it, but there were so many lightning flashes. If I remember, I'll actually put up some videos I took from various places on my property. It was actually a pain in the ass to get video footage because of how it goes from pitch black to bright, then back to pitch black. So getting actual good focus shots, lightning where it's not all blown out of focus, is difficult. At least for my phone, without any actual. Because I like thinking of myself as a photographer, at least an aspiring photographer, with phones and actual DSLR cameras as well. But videotaping lightning is something I'm not very familiar with. So I think I got some good ones though. So actually, speaking of photos of lightning, someone that we both know, Ben, Eric Dietz, a friend of mine. He actually went to school with Ben and I for a while. Anyway, back in middle school, he actually managed to get a very good picture of lightning during the day from San Francisco, which is actually pretty cool. I'll put that somewhere here if I remember. Pretty cool. Definitely better than any of the pictures that I got, because again, mine was in the middle of the night and it was hard to get the camera actually focus on that. He actually got his by a really interesting technique, which is actually how I got it. I got a decent photo using a pretty similar technique, which just film the sky, because trying to take a photo of lightning, it goes by so quickly. It's pretty difficult to get the actual photo of it. So just film the sky and take a screenshot of the video right where you want the flash, right when lightning strikes. But that's actually a pretty good tip in general if you can't actually get the actual photo of lightning itself. Just take a video of it and then just select the frame that you want. Anyway, a lot of storms, and they caused some stuff we'll talk about later on in the video, which was, the fires. Anyway, Ben, it's time to move on to viewer mail.
Also the destruction of Oliver's tent.
Wait,
hold up. Before we do that, I think this is the best time to retire. We should probably retire Wildman Oliver, because I don't know if you're ever going to be back in that tent again. And I think we need to give it its proper send-off.
No, no. I will go back in that tent tonight just to fucking spite you. This segment lives on. Just for pure spite. I will sleep in that tent tonight.
You're gonna sleep in a tent with a glory hole in it? Really?
Yes, I will. This segment will live on for at least one more week.
Episode.
Ben, I would be totally fine calling the segment off, except for the fact that you mentioned it. Since you mentioned it, it has to continue.
Oh no! You're gonna get hypothermia just to get spiky.
It's not that cold. It's only been 55 to 60 degrees at night around here. It's actually been nice and cool.
That's actually really nice.
I'm more worried about animals getting into it, because it is a massive hole. I'll try to put a video if I remember the size. If I remember to take one anyway. But it's a very large hole through the side of my tent.
You should do a shit post.
Yeah. Wildman Oliver videos, which I think I made 3 episodes of that. Never did it again. Or maybe I think I made 4 Wildman Oliver videos. I don't know.
Just be here's how you get into my tent, and you just go into the hole.
You know what? That'll be how I end the series. No, you know what? I'll set my camera up outside. I will exit the tent through the hole. That's how I'm gonna end the Wildman Oliver segments. Maybe we'll see. Anyway,
and
we actually don't have
segments that we normally don't talk about anymore.
Yep, viewer mail. But wait, we had one a few episodes ago. We had the hotel one, I think, right? We've not had any of them recently.
I missed that.
Even though, also, I want to take a time to report that, yes, the viewer accounts for some reason on my YouTube account are broken. I think I mentioned this before, but YouTube Studio has a better analytics version, right? I think the one that says 0 or 1 or 0 views, right? Has somewhere around, I think, 28 anyway. But yeah. So viewer mail, we don't have any. And now, Ben, you want to introduce the next slide?
Send us fucking mail. Yeah, so the next slide is Oliver's report.
Yeah, MLB Report.
MLB. It's just
MLB. So before we even get into the scores, I want to talk about a Giants news update. Joey Bart, probably the highest. He's the number 1 catcher prospect in all of baseball. Something in the number 10 prospect total of all baseball. Got called up today. We'll see how he does. I'm predicting maybe a couple doubles. He's got some serious power. Maybe hit by pitch. Who knows? Just, look for him to get on base because he gets on base like getting hit by pitch, getting hit. He's just pretty good at getting on base. And also, for a catcher, he's got some pretty good speed. Also, it's incredible he actually managed to make it this to the big leagues as a catcher. Because in the minor leagues over the last few years, he's actually had both of his hands broken, which is pretty yikes. At least that's.
And he's still playing.
Yep. At least that's what a actual I guess like an actual like scouting report said on him. I actually read that from I think it was from the Giants website earlier today. Anyway, yeah, Joey Bart got called up today. We'll see what he does. The Giants are trying to pull themselves out of a absolutely horrific weekend where they blew several massive leads late in games. Just got swept by the A's. So we'll see how that goes. They've been on a bit of a big losing streak. We'll see if they can pull themselves out of that. But anyway, on to the actual league scores. Anyway, starting out in the NL West like normal, we have, I think I mentioned this a while ago, but I expected the standings to kind of shift a little bit after a few weeks, and now they finally have the Dodgers leading the NL West with a 19-win, 8-loss record. In the NL Central, the Cubs they're leading the division with 16-8. They're still, I think they've been leading since the first week, actually. Now, the Cardinals are actually part of the NL Central. They are third with a record of 6-7 because they've been missing a lot of games because they had a COVID thing. But again, unlike the Marlins, they're actually containing it properly. But again, 6-7, that's the Cardinals record. They're in third place. In fourth place, the Reds have 10-12 record. So you can see how that's kind of messing with the whole balancing thing. Anyway, moving on to the NL East, we have the Braves are finally out ahead of the Marlins. So that's kind of sorting itself out. I think I've been saying for a while that the Marlins had to miss a few games because of the whole COVID thing they had going on because they contained that pretty poorly. In fact, they didn't really try to contain it at all until it was too late because that management staff is a bunch of idiots. Anyway, so the Braves are now finally. So the Marlins have dropped back with a 9-9 record to second place, and the Braves are now leading the NL East with 14-11. Now moving on to the American League in the AL West, the Oakland A's after previously mentioned, series against the Giants, they're just destroying. They're 17 wins, 8 losses. That's 2 games above the Astros, who are second place in the division. We have the Twins leading the AL Central, 17 wins, 9 losses, and to wrap up things over here on the MLB Report, we have the Rays. Yeah, I never expected to ever say this, but the Rays are actually leading the NL East, 17 wins, 9 losses. I don't think I've ever actually said that before in my life. All right, so yeah, Florida, they're actually getting some positive news for once.
No.
Anyway, let's move on to Ben Slide.
Okay, so let's talk about something that we never talk about on this podcast at all. College. All right, so basically, recently, a lot of colleges have decided that they want to go back to on-campus learning. And we have seen, over the past few weeks, we've seen kind of they fucked up, like a lot. So, for example, let's start. We're going from the list at the bottom all the way up. So let's start with University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. So what University of North Carolina did was they're like, oh, okay, we're just going to let everyone on here. We're going to open the frat houses and we're going to let people fucking party. And guess what happened in the first week?
COVID everywhere. Sickness everywhere. Stupid.
It was like over
What did they expect to happen? What did they expect from this?
They were just like, let's open the frats. Why is everyone getting COVID? I can't fucking tell.
Is the Miami Marlins management staff now operating colleges as well? I'm very confused.
Yes, they definitely are. So, the thing about UNC is that they were just like, all right, fine. So we're going to downgrade you guys, and we're going to say, they said that most of the people that were on campus had to leave.
Good.
And they were doing singles only for the rest of the fall.
Good.
And to be honest, Notre Dame and I think another school had the same thing, except they didn't say that they needed to de-densify. They just said, okay, go in quarantine for a week and then you'll be fine. You'll be out of it.
How many cases were there in total from the first school?
UNC was like 168 in one day. And
You know COVID's bad when that's a low number.
Probably bad. Oh my God. Only 168 cases.
Yeah. You know it's gotten to a bad place when that's the bright side. Yeah, that's yikes. I mean, to be fair, we've known COVID's been bad for, actually, since the whole lockdown thing started back in March. The lockdown started on March 17th. My birthday was on March 18th. Nice.
Shit. My last day of school was one of my best friend's birthdays, so it's fucked up.
Yeah, that's
now let's move up to Purdue.
Colleges don't really know how to do COVID, I guess, and that's stupid. But yeah, move on to Purdue.
Yeah. Purdue, one of our friends' colleges. You know, Harry, if you're listening to this, respond to our group chat. But Purdue basically is. They had the same thing, except it was just like you need to wear a mask when you're on campus. You need to stay 6 feet apart. But they were still having in-person classes, and they were still allowing parties to happen. The one difference is they weren't allowing parties to happen.
Okay.
And guess what happened at Purdue, though?
Yeah.
So, just guess, Oliver. Go ahead, guess. This is a guess.
More COVID?
Yeah, kind of. So the thing about it was that people had an off-campus party, and about 13 people ended up getting the virus from it. But it wasn't as bad as a lot of other schools.
Were those 13 people quarantined after that, though, is the question.
Those 13 people were expelled from the school for attending an off-campus party.
Actually?
So...
actually?
I think they were more than quarantined, yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So Purdue's put its foot down, and they're like, you are not going to come back to campus if you're an ass like that. Which is like, yeah, I totally applaud them for doing that. You can't be an asshole like that. But they're still doing in-person classes, and they're still not quarantining the majority of their students. So we'll see how that goes, but it doesn't look good for them.
In-person classes at this point in time are a recipe for disaster. Just, enclosed buildings.
Exactly.
Oftentimes circulated air, other things in that in sometimes very small classrooms, or not massive classrooms anyway.
Sweaty people.
Yeah, is.
Yeah, exactly.
There is no possible good end for this.
Too.
Just,
no, that's true. But actually, there have been some colleges that have been doing it pretty well, I think. So the first one we're going to talk about is San Jose State University. Now, these guys are just like only singles, in-person housing, but it has to be online learning. So you can go to our housing, and you can live there. And so far, they have not seen a spike in COVID cases. They've just seen people that move there.
Well, again, because they're not really doing the whole in-person thing. Because more in-person interaction equals more COVID cases spike.
Yeah, in-person classes are a really bad idea right now. You should go all online or nothing, or maybe one in-person if you need.
Pretty sure my school is actually doing that now. Yeah.
So SUSU's actually been doing pretty well, and one of the things about all of these schools is that some of my friends go to each one, except University of North Carolina. Thank you for not picking that, because how can you be a school that decides to make its kids smarter but be so fucking dumb? Like, I don't understand. Do you not have public health experts on your
to be
board?
fair, who wants to choose North Carolina anything, school or otherwise? It's North Carolina.
UNC's pretty good. Except for this.
Yeah,
so
they kind of they're good, but then they kind of they fucked up royally on something that actually matters a lot.
Exactly. North Carolina cannot be trusted. Next one, UCLA and UC Berkeley. We're gonna do these both as a thing. So UCLA is in LA County, which has the highest rate of COVID, both rates of increase and also.
Why am I not surprised?
Influencer parties, Oliver.
Yeah.
Come on, get with the times, all right?
That's why I said, Ben, did you not hear
It's
the actual sarcasm in that
York.
voice, in that tone? The very much sarcastic note there.
I definitely did, and I was being sarcastic.
Okay, good.
So UCLA has decided, because of that they're like, all right, we're just gonna not allow people on campus.
Smart.
This fall. And we're only gonna allow 2,000 people on campus because COVID is wrecking our county, and if you go, you're gonna get fucked. But a lot of UCLA kids are like, no, you know what? I'll just get an off-campus apartment. And they're going to LA anyways, and they're going to get COVID.
Also,
You're
apartments in LA.
Influencer
Fun.
Party. Some, What'd you say?
Apartments in LA, just expensive.
What'd you say? Sorry.
Apartments in LA, just expensive.
It's worse than SF, yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, it's LA. Everything is worse than SF.
Of shitty fucking apartments. Speaking of shitty apartments, let's talk about UCLA. Sorry, UCB.
UCB, oh boy.
Best one. Fuck you. Fuck UCB. Anyways, they're like, yeah, you can go on campus housing because Alameda County doesn't have a lot of cases, but they say that you need to be quarantined for 14 days when you get there.
All right.
You need to be tested immediately upon arrival.
All right.
And you cannot go out or have any visitors into your dorm.
All right.
So
that's slightly better.
Yeah, but they're having all online classes, as all the UCs are, I think, except maybe Santa Barbara and San Diego. And San Diego, you're going to get fucked. San Diego, they are not probably going to let anyone into housing.
San Diego's weird just in general.
Because San Diego,
but yeah.
Exactly. The second largest city. Remember the John Oliver segment?
Oh, boy.
San Diego.
Yep.
No.
That and that one South Park song.
Oh, that's so good.
Anyway, yeah, colleges.
San Diego, if you live in San Diego, please don't be offended.
Yeah, but colleges in general, some are making better decisions than others when it comes to COVID, and some are making actually good decisions when it comes to COVID, and some are in North Carolina. So, yeah, you know.
But there's also another approach, this final approach, and this is the last one I'm going to talk about. This is really interesting. It's coming out of Colorado. It's called the Colorado School of Mines. One of my best friends goes there. And essentially, they are constructing the dorms, but they're allowed to go outside, right? They're allowed to go outside for food or whatever. People are allowed in their room. They're allowed to go up on mountains and stuff. They have in-person classes, and they have not seen a spike in COVID cases.
Huh.
I think in the next few days, you're going to see a lot of people getting it.
Yeah.
Because the thing about mines is that they have a lot of engineering students, and engineering students are famously shut-ins, so they probably didn't get the virus in the first place.
That's pretty much, that sounds like a valid statement, pretty much, is in theory anyway.
Yeah, so again, as Oliver said, there are great ways for colleges to survive COVID, such as letting people on campus, housing, not allowing people.
If you want to do well with, if you're a college that wants to do well in COVID, look at North Carolina and just do everything that they're not doing. Just do the exact opposite of what North Carolina is doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you have the opportunity not to take in-person classes, I would highly suggest you do.
Yeah.
For yourself and for others.
Yeah.
If you have the opportunity to go to a party, turn it down. If you want to leave your house, fucking do it. Fucking go to housing. But if you have a roommate, maybe reconsider.
Yeah.
College is not going to be normal this year.
No.
It's probably not going to be normal until
at
least the January.
Yeah.
And it's probably not going to be. Well, it could be like half a year, honestly.
Yeah, that it depends on
the vaccine comes out.
It depends on vaccines and stuff like that.
Speaking of the vaccine.
It's time to talk about what we talk about every episode. We have a Patreon, and do not donate to it. It's been a running joke since I want to say episode 2 or 3, and it's bad.
This is the 4th episode.
4 was it? Yeah. Anyway, point is.
Yeah, it was 4.
Dumb, bad. Do not donate. Very bad. Our Patreon is very stupid. That money is not going to that money is not going to getting the podcast a better recording setup. The recording setup is still my phone recording my iPad. If you were wondering.
Let's go.
But
I'm just saying, when we set up the Patreon account, it was comorbid with when we set up the Sausage Side account. So that should tell you something about
exactly,
how much we value your money. We don't.
Yeah. Anyway, do not donate to our Patreon. But what you should do is, when it's available, get the vaccine. Ben, you want to talk about more about that?
Yes. Let's actually talk about the vaccine. So I think we talked about this last week, how Russia had a preemptive COVID vaccine, and we don't know if it works yet, but it could. There's a lot of new vaccine developments. We have some actually really good news that's coming up on the news slide. But what that does mean is it still means you need to go out there, do your duty to your country and to your people and to everyone in the world and get the fucking shot. I don't care if you're scared of needles. I don't care if you think vaccines cause autism. Maybe you deserve autism for thinking that. You should get the fucking vaccine. Get it? And wear your mask. If you don't wear your mask, you're stupid. Oliver, play that clip. All right. Fuck you. Wear your mask. Take a vaccine. If
Oh wait, you want me to play the clip, don't you?
Oh no! Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, the Achievement Hunter clip. Yeah.
That's such a good. Such a good.
That's from the Achievement Hunter podcast, I think.
So,
yeah.
The takeaway: don't donate to our Patreon, but do get a vaccine.
Absolutely.
Okay. Patreon in the description. Here we go. And now, here we go. It's time for the best intro in the history of the world. It's time for your weekly Fuck 12. And coming at you live from San Francisco, this is your weekly Fuck 12. That's right, weekly Fuck 12, where we break down some of the shittiest things that the cops did this week. Alright, anyways.
Ben?
What?
Stop giving me things to put in the new intro, because this week's intro might be the Price is Right one.
Oh no. No, it's the Family Feud one.
Oh yeah, Family Feud. Right, yeah.
Anyways, use that. So, weekly Fuck 12, recently there have been Portland, there's been fighting in Portland. There's been
What a surprise.
supremacists in Portland. As usual, because white supremacists love Oregon, it's one of their favorite states. Be careful when you go up there.
Yep.
Hold on.
Fucking Scrooge.
My brother just went into my room. You're gonna wanna cut that out. Please
Ben, I'm gonna cut it out anyway because the audio was all.
Let's talk about
The audio was junk anyway.
Okay, alright. So,
I'm not cutting it out. It's saying.
exactly. It probably sucked. Alright. So, weekly Fuck 12. Portland police were, they stood by as white supremacists beat up innocent peaceful protesters and only reacted when the peaceful protesters decided they weren't going to be so peaceful anymore. They turned anti-fascist and they started throwing rocks and bottles at the white supremacists. And then the Portland police obviously stepped in and separated people and started arresting only the Black Lives Matter protesters because, of course, they did. They don't want to be in trouble at the station.
Oregon police support
In
white
Chicago,
supremacy. What a surprise. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
Whoa.
not really news, but it is also news because it keeps happening. Like, we already knew this stuff, but it's going to keep happening. So, we're going to keep talking about it.
It's really stupid. You should stop supporting white supremacists. Back the blue, more like fuck the blue.
Do you remember that horrible typeface, that horrible font that they used in that
That
look?
was so great. That was so wonderful. The police have the best graphic designers, guys. Come on. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is in Chicago, where recently, again, there's been outrage over the death of an unarmed black man at the hands of the police. Of course, so Chicago residents decided that they were going to take matters into their own hands, engage in destruction of property, went into a police precinct, blah, blah, blah. And then what did the police do? Responded with violence, mass arrests, rubber bullets, tear gas, obviously, the things that we've seen. Keep in mind, these protests are not over. Black Lives Matter is still happening, and it is still gaining momentum across the United States. So there will always be stories of cops that are hurting other people, especially peaceful protesters. Now, we're gonna skip this. We're gonna skip this next part because it's kind of out. Statements for 2 years because obviously we know that the police can just fix themselves. Oh, we having audio problems?
No, we're back now.
Okay. So, obviously, we know the police can just fix themselves in 2 years, right? So, it's totally fine. Yeah, thank you, facial recognition companies. You saved the day for 2 fucking years. And they're still using it anyways. And they only banned it for Chinese companies because when China oppresses people, that's bad. When America does it...
That's fine, yeah. See, like, when America does something horrible, it's fine because we're America. Whenever another country does it, it's the epitome of the devil. Yeah. It's just fucking... America's bloated ego. America's horribly bloated ego once again.
So I'm going to go from the last to the next one because the last one is... So a new study has come out that shows that police only solve 2% of major crime. So a new study shows police solve 2% of major crimes. Okay, 2% success rate. What a great job. Great news. We totally need you guys. And finally, the best headline I have ever seen. I just saw this when I was scrolling through Twitter, right when we were about to record this. A cop has shot himself accidentally in the chest when trying to kill his wife.
What?
And he died.
What?
By shooting himself in the chest.
How? How is this? How is this? I saw on the internet a cop tried to shoot a dog and shot himself in the foot. Is this a different one then as well? Or was it the same idiot?
Yeah, it's a different one.
Okay.
No, it's a different one.
Two cops, the same stupid problem and different results. Well, I mean, one was a dog, one was a wife, but still, you get the point. How is this? What? That's really. How do you shoot yourself in the chest?
It just shows that they don't have any training.
It's mind-boggling how that happens.
Maybe they have too much training if they know how to accidentally shoot themselves in the chest. That takes a lot of skill. Oh, God. Okay. So, let's actually talk about some good news. Recently, we have found a study that says that herd immunity, if you guys don't know what herd immunity... Oliver, is my audio good?
Yeah, your audio is good.
Okay. Herd immunity, if you don't know what it is, it's essentially the percentage of people that need to be immunized, whether it's from previous experience with the disease or from a vaccine, in order for the entire population to be essentially immune and for the virus to die out. So we originally thought that COVID-19 would have a 70% herd immunity rate that was needed in order to stop symptomatic transmission. But we've figured out that no, it might actually be 45% when you control for a lot of different factors like geographical factors and natural immunity that some different people have. So herd immunity might be 45%, which means that only a smaller number of people might need to be vaccinated than we think. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't get vaccinated. That means actually you should get vaccinated quicker so that we can end this pandemic quicker. It's really good news on COVID, though.
Yeah.
Oliver, you want to talk about the lightning part?
Yeah, because I touched on this briefly in the Wildman Oliver slide, but we had a massive dry lightning storm. At least it was dry lightning where I was. That means, of course, no rain, lots of wind. Now, wind, when you're trying to blow out a candle, that type of fire, that's good. Blows out a candle. Wind during actual fires, they just spread like crazy. Currently, there's California, there's a few fires around. Not that many, but there are a few. I'm just going to say I expect more to be popping up pretty soon just because just the heat and it's just getting bad. But lightning, I think I saw like somewhere like my news app right on my phone. I think it might have been from CNN or New York Times, or LA Times, something like that, right? Anyway, it was somewhere close to like 11,000 lightning strikes in just that one night. And it caused, fires, all the other stuff, massive smoke in the sky, meaning go outside where I actually own a gas mask. You've seen it. It's a spray paint gas mask with actual air filter, which I use when I went outside the other day. So I use that sometimes. But, it's just so smoky. We actually had to keep the doors closed like in the house for a day because it was that bad. Plus, smoke plus heat makes it even more unbearable. Because it's also just been still 70s, 80s, which is not that hot in general, but when it's smoky out, it just becomes worse. But fires. We'll hopefully be able to update you on those next episode, episode 19. But for now, stay safe and stay safe. And if you are ever requested to evacuate, do that. All right. Ben, anything else for us, Ben?
All right. So I think we also need to talk about a little thing about... Yeah, so in this time of... I'm just adding on to the story. So in this time of heat and time when we also all need desperate electric air filters, those things that exist, PG&E, our wonderful privately owned electrical utility, has decided, hey, we're not going to upgrade infrastructure until it's desperately needed. So no air conditioning or air filtering for you in these tough times. And they just said, fuck your lungs. Now, because they care more about profit than actually.
I could be wrong. Wasn't it the Paradise Fire last year, or was it 2018 that was started from that old PG&E line?
Yeah, there have been so many fires in California that have been started by PG&E. And PG&E apparently covers the top part of California. There's a different one for the bottom part of California. Governor Newsom, if you're listening, fucking buy it up. You need to do that. Just fucking do it. Swear to God. Because it cannot be used to, like, seriously, it's used to bludgeon the fucking California people into just paying too much for electricity that, what did they do?
We got rolling blackouts. We got rolling blackouts that, by their own admission, nothing to do with the wildfires, just blackouts. Like, it's like normally, because sometimes they do rolling blackouts to prevent, like wildfires and old lines or whatever, right? Like starting fires with fire season around right now, right? This was not about that. This was just, we're going to have blackouts because fuck the public, who cares?
Yeah. It's very ass. Now let's talk about this final thing. And I'm going to keep this one short and to the point because I didn't fucking watch any of this shit show and I don't suggest you do either.
All right.
Democratic National Convention. Oh boy. Okay, so as you all know, Joe Biden is a Democratic nominee, and as you also all know, Donald Trump is the presumptive Republican nominee. And as we all know, one is clearly favored by people on this podcast more than the other.
Yeah.
But only slightly. We're not big, massive fans of this guy. He's an ass. I hate him. But he is better than Trump.
He's definitely better than Trump, yeah.
If you're in a swing state, maybe you should vote more than if you're not in a swing state. But the Democratic National Convention, they fucking played with my heartstrings, man. AOC was on, and she basically seconded Bernie's nomination. And she was only invited on there because she seconded Bernie's nomination.
Yep.
The DNC didn't even invite her. But do you know who they did invite? You know what they did? Michael fucking Bloomberg.
Yeah.
Fucking turtle-looking ass motherfucker who spent $500,000 to get 2 fucking delegates. Like, he got nobody. And he's just like, we're going to put him in the fucking convention because he's so good. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Michael goddamn Bloomberg.
I think it was more just to have a somewhat well-known name than anything else at this point.
But AOC had as one of the most recognizable names in politics. People fucking love her. Even libs love her. Like, libs and leftos are both insane about her. Like, maybe not to the point of standing. Maybe liberals do. But a lot of leftists really like it. But they decided at the DNC that the one thing that they're going to do is never cater to leftists. They're never going to cater to Medicare for all. They're never going to, like, they talked about healthcare as a human right, but they don't care. Healthcare isn't a human right, because if it was, then maybe you provide it for free.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
other countries actually do that.
Obviously. Yeah. It's like, obviously, we are, very fucking, it's like we're on a cross.
Did you
right
hear some
now,
of the music that they
to
used during the convention? During the Democratic convention?
No, I didn't.
They had,
What music did
I want to say it sounded like a very horrible cover of...
Billie Eilish.
Yeah, okay, apart from that. Yeah, that was, I actually did not mind that. But the cover, I think was this cover of Stand By Me, which was...
Oh, God.
Don't cover that song. The actual song is iconic. Don't cover that song. Bad whoever did that. It was bad. Like, the original song, actually,
Don't use
enjoy.
the fucking chords either.
Yeah.
Okay, but you know what you know what I'm really looking forward to? You know what I'm really looking forward to this week? The Republican convention. You know who they got to speak? The 2 people that were pointing guns.
Yep, the Karen and the Ken. Oh boy, here we go.
The Karen and Ken. It's like
talk about a shit show. This is gonna be horrible. Also, did you hear that they actually, Ben? It might be 30 seconds delayed as opposed to live because they're worried that they might actually have to censor some stuff apparently on major networks. They have to have their hand over the buzzer because of...
Trump's gonna say that's fucking censorship. They're censoring my party even though we're the second biggest one.
It's more about... I think they're more worried about the Karen and the Ken speaking and saying things. What are their actual names? Do you know?
I don't know their names and I don't want to know their names. They're probably
I think it's... You know what? Probably Karen and Ken. Let's just call them that. Just because that's what they're
honestly, yeah. Look like Karen and Ken. Who do you think's going to say the N-word first?
I don't think either of them will. Because even those idiots know that it's national television and that's probably not a good idea. Anyway.
You know what? I'm just looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. So, let's fucking go into the new quarantine media update. What are we listening to?
Well, Ben, do you want to start first or should I?
Yeah, I'll start. I'll do
right.
the whole thing from the top down.
Go ahead.
So, to begin with, for music, I have begun to listen to this new band called, it's not new, it's actually pretty old. It's called Drunk Mums. One of their songs is called Big Titty something or other. I don't know what it's called. This has the word titty in it. It's fun. I kind of like them. If you want to listen to them, please subscribe to my Okay, hold up. Hold up. All right.
Also, let it be known that Ben likes
Here
Drunk
goes.
Mums.
Lemonade Stand.
Let that be on the record.
Yes, sir. I enjoy drunk mothers. Okay. Lemonade Stand playlist. Please, that's my second playlist. If you would like to listen to the sweet beats that I listen to when I am about to take a massive fucking dump, listen to my Lemonade Stand playlist. Next.
Why is it called Lemonade Stand, Ben?
I literally just looked. I saw a lemonade stand outside one day when I was walking the fucking, I was walking down the street. I don't know why anyone had a fucking lemonade stand out in COVID and the fucking fires, but someone had it out, and I was just like, oh, that's a good idea. I'm just going to name it Lemonade Stand. So I did that.
All right, cool.
It originally was just called New One. So, yeah. The other one's called Aesthetic Sauce. So if you would like to listen to my Aesthetic Sauce playlist, please do so as well. So, my Lemonade Stand playlist, I've been listening to that too. For my games, I literally have just played the Box Boy demo because I am too cheap to actually buy the real game. For television, I have been watching The Legend of Korra, which is actually pretty good, even though they had to make Toph a cop, which is really sad because she was one of my favorite characters, but they had to turn her into a fucking cop.
The animation is actually better than the
film,
Avatar, I think. I'd say that much. The animation it's a lot more fluid just in terms of style.
Yeah, it's pretty good, honestly. Except they made
and character motivations actually kind of make sense this time around.
The film that I watched, yeah,
for side characters, like
kinda,
I think like Avatar, like for the main characters fine, but like for some side characters in the original show, it was a bit. I do this now because story demands it. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, Ben, continue.
Korra's fine. It's just the messaging is weird. And finally, for the film, I watched Clueless, the one where the stepbrother and the stepsister have sex and become husband and wife.
That sounds like a Pornhub category.
Anyways, so what is your what are your quarantine media?
My quarantine media. So for music, it's just the basic stuff. Power rock playlist. Dragon Force. The one song specifically, Operation Ground and Pound, is still really good in my opinion. Good song. Just based I think I already said Power Rock playlist, like normal Power Rock playlist, link in the description with all the other links to our social media and stuff like that. Randomized Black Sabbath stuff I just inserted in my playlist for no reason. Weird Al, Mumbo Number 5 by Lou Bega. Oh boy, that song is it's certainly something. It's a thing that exists, you can say that much. But lots of Dragon Force. Bare Naked Ladies still. That's definitely up there. That's some good stuff like that. Also my Nifty playlist. Oh yeah, my Nifty playlist, but also the Heavy, specifically the song Short Change Hero. And the sound also some soundtracks, including the soundtrack to Red vs. Blue, which is owned by Warner Brothers Media. Is that a spoiler? That kind of refers to the panel I'll be covering, or the thing I'll be covering. I didn't say that. You did.
Warner Brothers.
That's getting censored. Warner Brothers owns a lot of stuff. They also own.
Anyways,
they own freaking.
You told me not to spoil the event.
Yeah, I'm censoring that anyway. Warner Brothers owns a lot of stuff. They own Looney Tunes. They own a lot of shit. They own Rooster's Productions. They own Looney Tunes. They own a lot of things. Warner Brothers. They own like partial rights to like all the Lego games. So for all you know, I could be covering an upcoming Lego convention. I'm not, but for all you know, it could be. All right. So also some Weezer on that list. Anyway, moving on from music for me. For games, Fallout 4. doing a lot of the mods on that one because I don't really care about getting achievements. Because in most games on just systems, right, if you use mods, it disengages achievements, which makes sense because there are some mods that gives you like one-hit kills and makes you invincible. So I can see why things like complete the game without dying would be turned off for that. Anyway, Fallout 4. I actually downloaded the Batman Arkham Collection because right now Arkham Asylum, so I guess the remaster of Arkham Asylum and remaster of Arkham Knight are all just $15 right now, which is pretty cool. Which is normally they're all about, I think, with all the DLC, especially, which also comes with it, it's normally about, I think, $85 with all this put together, with all the DLC. Anyway, that's pretty cool. Some more Portal Knights, a little bit of Call of Duty Mobile, I'm getting back into that, a lot of fun. The current update is awesome because they made it balanced, and also they got rid of, 3/4 of the in-app purchase stuff, made all that stuff free unlockable in the game, and added a bunch of new attachments. I think it was over 1,000 new attachments, a ton of new weapons, and a bunch of new cosmetics, which you don't even pay for. Actually, you cannot buy the cosmetics. You actually have to unlock them, which is actually a bold step in the direction of non-Activision, which Activision is known for pretty much being the EA of the rest of the industry, which is buying in-game purchase bullshit. So it's nice to see Activision going, I guess, Call of Duty series going more in the direction of a few things being paid to buy in games. It's for DLC stuff. But in terms of buying new guns or new cosmetics, you can't do that anymore. You actually have to unlock them proper games. Anyway, we also have on my games list freaking Forza Motorsport 7, Forza Horizon 4. Moving on to TV, The Flash, Titans, Arrow, Doom Patrol, Stargirl, and Legends of Tomorrow, along with I'm rewatching Sherlock again because fuck it, I don't know. And the Giants games, and yeah, I've been watching I've been watching 9 innings of every single Giants game, even though they've been struggling very badly as of recently. And for films, I have watched nothing. Ben, do you want to do the outro here?
Yeah, sure. So we're always looking for viewer mail. So if you have any idea on how to fix dead audio files, such as the Waste of Time podcast we recorded on Thursday rather than the one that we're recording right now on Sunday, please let us know via courier pigeon because our power is out, or by sending an email to jenkins123, jenkins123@gmail.com. That's right, jenkins123, jenkins123@gmail.com. We just fooled all of you. Get fucked. Thank you so much, and goodbye.